In February 2021, on the same day that we got this bullshit, we were also given a look at Game Freak's next project being Pokémon Legends Arceus, and to be honest, the game seemed pretty interesting. With the game taking place back in the day before Xeno was called Xeno, looking as if it was an actual open world experience, now having the ability to fucking dodge roll, and seeming like we were finally leaving behind the basic 8-batch system we've been getting since '96, Legends Arceus was looking to be a nice change of pace for main series Pokemon. Is what you would think looking at this trailer. Here's the problem though, just like how the initial trailer for BDSP made the games look like absolute dog water, the one for Legends Arceus also made this game look like absolute dog water. What the fuck? The world was empty, the textures and graphics made Sword and Shield look like Spider-Man remastered on PS5, and the Pokemon were moving at fucking 3 frames a second. Like, what is this shit? It was a real rough day for Pokemon fans on what was supposed to be a fun day for celebrating the 25th anniversary of our dangerous yet lovely pocket-sized friends. But thankfully, just like BDSP, Legends Arceus received a brand new trailer in August, on the same day, to be exact. And just like I said in my review of those games, this trailer made the game look so much more appealing. The world was still kinda empty and the textures and graphics were still kinda wacky looking, but at least the Pokemon weren't moving at 3 frames a second anymore. That's cool. In all seriousness, I've done so many takes of this one line so much that it doesn't even feel like seriousness is a word anymore. In all seriousness, the trailer was solid. We were given a look at new characters. That sounded really robotic. We were given a look at new characters, we got a little more information on the story, and the new gameplay mechanics looked pretty interesting. Never in my days did I ever think to see a Pokemon game where the Pokemon actually tried to beat the shit out of you, but damn am I happy this is a thing now. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Luxray. Beat that nigga's ass! After this trailer, Pokemon started their trend of dropping a new trailer once every month leading up to the release, and I can confidently say that I finally reached a point where I was genuinely excited for this game. Fast forward to January 28th, Pokemon Legends Arceus finally released. After my full playthrough, what do I think? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it mediocre like its Xeno brethren? Let's take a walk and find out. As stated earlier, Pokemon Legends Arceus takes place in a land before the Sinnoh region, more specifically called the Hisui region. During these old days, Pokemon and humans didn't really fuck with each other like that. Humans saw our beloved creatures as dangerous and savage beasts, while Pokemon viewed humans as a bunch of bitch-ass niggas, essentially. You take control of either Dawn or Lucas as they're taken back in time to join the Galaxy Expedition team on their mission to Crusade. This is the third time I said Crusade. What the fuck is a Crusade? On their mission to create Hisui's first Pokedex. For a bunch of folks who don't fuck with Pokemon, they seem to be very interested in figuring out how they operate. I, for one, am not that bold, so these mugs would have me all the way fucked up. The player showing up in Hisui has also caused a disturbance throughout the region in the form of the 5 noble Pokemon that protect the different corners to go batshit crazy. With the help of the Diamond and Pearl clans who act as the region's wardens, you eventually quell, as the game puts it, the rampage that the nobles were going on. Conveniently, after the last noble is quelled, a Pokemon could be seen coming out of the giant rift in the sky above Mount Coronet, causing the sky to become all wacky looking and also cause time and space to go all weird. Seeing as how you also dropped from that same rift, the commander of the Galaxy team blames you for everything going on, and essentially tells you to fuck off until you can prove your innocence. If you think you'd be able to get help from the Diamond and Pearl clans, you'd be wrong, because they also tell you to go kick rocks. All except Adamant and Iridia. After going on a long journey with Volo, a merchant you meet earlier in the game, and either Adamant or Irida to recreate the red chain to fix the rift in the sky, clear your name, and climb in Mount Coronet, you find out that the Pokemon in the space rift is either Dialga or Palkia, depending on who you decided to let help you collect the pieces of the red chain. After catching the first legendary, the second one comes through the space rift and you get a chance to catch it too. And just like that, the story ends. What? No, I'm dead ass. Like, the story just ends after that with Arceus telling you to go seek out all the remaining Pokemon in the region. Yeah, I know, it's really weird. The story of this game is pretty solid in my opinion, and it's the best that we've had in a main series game since Sun and Moon. There are bits of it that are kinda strange to me, like the ending for example, like I mentioned before. After catching Dialga and Palkia, the space-time rift is fixed and the day is saved. But why though? It feels so anticlimactic, and There's even a part where you have to find a special ore to help the professor create a ball specific to catching the second legendary. But the ore is just in some random cave. It's so weird and it felt kind of rushed in my opinion. Since we're on this topic, it kind of bothers me that Legends Arceus' main story doesn't end with or involve Arceus in any way, shape, or form. It's saved for the post-game after you've seen or caught all of the Pokemon in Hisui, and this is honestly the most disappointing aspect of the story for me. When a game has Arceus in the title, I'm expecting it to have a story, giving us much needed Arceus lore, and if not that, at the very least making it the central focus. But hey, it is what it is. Besides those little missteps, I thought the story was pretty good. It is nice that we finally got another deviation from the usual city-to-city collecting 8 badges system we've been having since Red and Blue, and change like that is always welcomed. Okay, so how do I put this as nicely as possible? This game is kind of ugly. Okay, maybe that's an over-exaggeration, but it definitely doesn't look the best. It's really crazy how this keeps happening, though. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee looked pretty damn good, and so did BDSP. So what's going on with this game? The textures are still kind of muddy like in the pre-release trailers, and the Pokemon move at like 3 frames a second when they're in the distance. It's just upsetting how this game turned out graphically. I will say, though, it's not all bad all the time. There are occasions where this game looks pretty okay, but nothing amazing. I'm still not really sure if music counts as presentation, but it's going to be like that today. Anyways, the music in this game is absolutely fantastic, as expected from Pokemon. I love the fact that the soundtrack mostly tries to have new tracks while mixing in some of the music from Diamond and Pearl, like Jubilife Village for example. It has its own thing going at first. But then if you continue to listen, you see what I'm talking about? This isn't the only spot in the game that does it either. Don't even get me started on the battle music. Now, this shit right here is actual heat. All of the new tracks and remixes have quickly become some of my favorite from the entire franchise. They are so fucking good. The UI for this game is really clean too, in my opinion. I love the look they were going for with the brushstrokes for the... Am I dyslexic or something? What the fuck is happening? I love the look they were going for with the brushstrokes for the font of certain things and like in the battle menu. And I also like the way everything is laid out in normal gameplay. The inventory menu, the way the throwable items and the Pokemon icons on the bottom right are set up, the map screen, it's all really clean looking. My only real issue is the lack of a mini-map. It's like a written rule that games like this should have a mini-map to remove the need to stop your progress and go to a different screen to see where you're going. And this game doesn't have that, unfortunately, which kind of sucks, but it's nothing I'll lose sleep over. One last thing I want to talk about in terms of presentation are the Pokemon themselves. They're actually properly scaled in this game, and that's pretty damn cool. This even carries over into battles now, since they take place in the overworld instead of in a different arena separate from it. Overall, the presentation is a mixed bag for me personally. The music is good shit, the graphics are bad shit, the UI and Pokemon are really solid. Hopefully they'll improve on all of this in either Gen 9 or the next Legends game, or whatever the case may be. This is undoubtedly the part of the game I was looking forward to talking about the most. To put it bluntly, this is the most fun that I've had at a Pokemon game since Black and White 2, and this is coming from the dude who will defend Gen 7 till the day he dies. In this game, instead of running through the tall grass and getting random encounters, they adapted the Let's Go Pikachu and Sword and Shield system of being able to see the Pokemon in the overworld while you're exploring. Also, for the first time in the series, I think, you can actually craft items to help you while you're exploring, such as Pokeballs, potions, the usual lot. This is really useful mechanic. This is a really useful mechanic, seeing as how money is a little more scarce in this game, so it allows you to be more stocked up on items, even when you're short on them chips.
Give me no chips!
Back on the topic of the Pokemon themselves, they have an actual behavioral system in this game. They eat, they sleep, they roam. It's quite... the fuck is a quite? It's quite nice being able to see how the different Pokemon... That's not what the script says. It's nice to see... What? It's nice to be able to see how the different Pokemon act. That's not what the script says! It's quite nice being able to see how all the different creatures act. That even goes for the encounters, seeing as how now you have the option to just chuck Pokeballs at them outside of battle. You can go about this in many different ways, by just being real bold and walking up to them, hiding in tall grass, using berries to lure their attention away from you and distract them, throwing balls of literal shit at them, you fucking asshole. The open-endedness of this game and all the options you have when it comes to catching Pokemon is really one of the best parts of it. Pokeballs such as the Heal, Luxury, Quick, Timer, Dusk, and all of the special kinds of Pokeballs are absent in this game, but a greater emphasis was put on the Heavy Balls this time around, as well as all the new different variants that it got. Now you're supposed to use Heavy Balls as a way to surprise Pokemon and make it easier to hit them with a back shot. Pause. To further elaborate on the behavioral system during encounters, different Pokemon react to your presence in different ways. Some couldn't give two fucks about your existence like my man's Bidoof, some will run away at the sight of you, and others will outright try to throw hands with you. And being the type of person that I am, you could bet your ass I ran away like a punk bitch 90% of the time. Oh, get away from me! There's even a chance that multiple Pokemon can try to gang up on you at once, and most of the time, you're usually fucked in this scenario. Something I mentioned back in the beginning of this video was that the Pokemon can actually attack you now, and this is something that I've kinda always wanted to see in a Pokemon game. The creatures themselves are the literal namesake of the whole franchise, and I love all the additions in this game to make them feel more lively, and I really hope they continue to do stuff like this in future games. Another form of Pokemon encounter that we have in this game are the Alphas. Alphas are giant versions of Pokemon with glowing red eyes that are way more aggressive than the regular lot that you run into. These motherfuckers are a true threat and will almost always be significantly higher level than you. I will never forget the fucking level 40 Alpha Rapidash in the first area of the game. And when I tell you I ran for my life when I saw that thing, those glowing red eyes also don't help anything. Because imagine you're trying to get your items together before dealing with one and you see them shits just staring at you through the menu screen. Defeating or catching an Alpha will reward you with rare items like EXP candies that can level up your Pokemon faster than both battles and rare candies, or the newly introduced Seed of Mastery, which can be used to automatically achieve Strong and Agile style on your Pokemon's attacks. Strong style and Agile style are newly introduced features that allow you to switch up the way you want to battle. Strong style increases the damage of an attack but makes you move less frequently, while Agile style increases the amount of times you can move but weakens the attack. At least it's supposed to. I swear Agile style really confuses me, and I swear it doesn't change up anything on the move order when I use it sometimes. But when my opponent uses it, suddenly this nigga is moving up to 3 fucking times in a row. Because that's fair. Speaking of battles, I genuinely like the fact that battles are a little more challenging this time around. It seems like you actually have to try instead of just mindlessly hitting attacks until you win. You know you're truly fucked when a Pokemon up to 30 levels lower than you is able to do half your HP with neutral attacks while you still can't one-shot them. But for some reason, I kinda like that. It makes it so that I can't get too cocky when I'm battling, and it keeps me on my toes. A strange change in this game though is abilities, and the lack of them. Pokemon don't have their abilities in this game for some odd reason, but I'm not really bothered by it. A lot of moves also saw changes to them in terms of their power and functionality, but strangely enough, status conditions also saw a pretty out there change.
For starters, no status condition is permanent now. All of them, poison, paralysis, burn, etc., can be shaken off after a few turns. Frozen and Sleep have also had... also had is not in the script. Why do I keep saying that? Frozen and Sleep have also been changed to act more like poison and burn and paralysis, respectively. Frozen is now frostbitten, and it damages you each turn, and Sleep has been changed to drowsy, adding a chance for you to not move for a turn. I don't really understand the need for these changes, but hey, I'm not losing any sleep over it. Get it? Please laugh, this is all I got. On the topic of moves, probably my favorite change made to this game is how Pokemon level up moves are handled. In the past, as a Pokemon levels up, it learns a new move. Once you have 4, you want to get a new one, you have to delete one of them in order to get said new one. And if you want access to your old moves or one that you missed out on, you need to go to a move reminder, and it usually costs a heart scale. In this game, however, as a Pokemon learns new moves, they're essentially stored like gadgets or like moves in an arsenal, and you can swap them out whenever you want at no cost. If you're rocking Close Combat, Flare Blitz, Bulk Up, and Flamethrower, why can't I speak? If you're rocking Close Combat, Flare Blitz, Bulk Up, and Flamethrower on an Infernape, but you want to try a new move, like the Raging Fury move that he gets, just swap out one of those moves and try it. And if you want the old move back, just swap it back in. That's so fucking fire! Like, I never knew I wanted a feature like this until now, but holy shit, it is amazing. This needs to be a staple feature going forward. It makes so much easier when it comes to figuring out moves for your Pokemon, and it's a very welcome change. Another very nice change is the option to change your Pokemon's nickname whenever you want instead of having to go all the way to a name reader to do it. I feel like this more than any other feature should have been in the games, but hey, better late than never. Character customization makes another appearance, and you just gotta love the fact that Game Freak continues to think that people only come in 4 skin colors. This has been a feature since X and Y. How hard is it to add a more in-depth customization system? I feel like it shouldn't be, but then again, I'm not a game developer, so what do I know? I would just like it so much more, and I would appreciate it more if we had a bit more freedom to decide how our nigga looks when we start the game. Maybe in the future, but that's probably wishful thinking. This game also gives us honest-to-God side quests, and there's actually a large amount of them. Most of them amount to catching Pokemon and showing it to the person who wants to see it, or completing a Pokemon's entire dex entry and showing it to the person who wants to see it. Nothing too serious, though there are 3 quests that give you access to Shaman, Darkrai, Manaphy, and Fione, almost said Shione, which is also pretty neat. This game continues the trend of adding regional variants and regional evolutions to some of the Pokemon in the dex, and can I just say, a lot of these new forms and evolutions are like mad ugly. There are some actual bangers, like Samurott, Zora and Zoroark, and Braviary, but others like Ursaluna, Quillfish, and Overquill, and Sneasler really missed the mark. Sneasler especially, like this thing is such a downgrade compared to the baller-ass mon that is Weavile, and its name is so fucking bad. Sneasel and Sneasler, really? Y'all could have tried a little harder than that. I'm like, come on fellas. And do not even get me started on the origin forms for Palkia and Dialga. Gotta be some of the worst designed creatures to ever come out of this franchise. Like, what the fuck is we doing? Why the hell does Dialga look like my man Squidward with the fork stuck in his throat? And why the hell is Palkia a horse? Like, these motherfuckers are not it at all. And it hurts because Dialga and Palkia are a half of my favorite group of main legendaries. This has got to be the worst batch of new regional forms and new forms that has ever been implemented since the beginning of this trend back in Sun and Moon. Besides like 4, maybe 5 of them, none of these designs strike gold with me at all. They definitely needed to do better in this department. Speaking of the new forms and evolutions, 5 of them take the place of the noble Pokemon I mentioned in the story synopsis, these being Kleavor, Lilligant, Arcanine, Electrode, and Avalugg. Instead of just battling them, you actually have an encounter with these bosses, where you, as the player, have to dodge their attacks and wait for the right time to hit them with these bombs made out of their favorite foods. Once you hit them enough, then you open up the opportunity to use your Pokemon to fight against them. And defeating them takes a good chunk out of their health bar, where you continue to throw bombs at them until their health is completely empty. I think this is a really cool spin on boss battles in Pokemon, and I hope we get more stuff like this in the future. The last thing I want to talk about in terms of the gameplay is just the region of Hisui itself. I really like this new approach of exploring the world. It's like an expanded wild area from Sword and Shield. Granted, it isn't perfect. Just like the wild area, the world is kind of empty. There isn't really much to do in this world besides catching Pokemon and getting materials for crafting. Like, look at this cutscene real quick. Imagine this, but it's the whole world. Where is everybody? Once in a while, you'll run into a pretty sizable group of Pokemon, with most of them trying to kill you, but most of the time, it's barren. I'm willing to give this even the slightest bit of a pass since it's the first real time Game Freak ever tried doing something like this, but if we do this again, they gotta add a little bit more to the world. This game also brings back the ride Pokemon mechanic from Sun and Moon. Weirdeer, Braviary, Sneasler, I fucking hate this thing, Basculegion, and Ursaluna can all be used to help you get around the region quicker, and in Ursaluna's case, find hidden items placed all over. These two things aren't really connected, but something else that's kind of funny to me is the fact that your character can actually black out if you take too much damage from either Pokemon attacks or fall damage. Yes, there's fall damage in a Pokemon game, and you can even fucking drown now. I definitely want something like this to return in a future game. It adds more immersion to the world and actually makes things a little bit more interesting. But I think my favorite part of exploring the world is seeing what locations ended up becoming the towns and cities in Diamond and Pearl, like the Sand Gem Flats for example, or seeing what locations existed even back in the day, like Snow Point Temple or the Solaceon Ruins. I wish there were more villages or settlements other than Jubilife Village and the ones for the Diamond and Pearl clans, more specifically places like Hearthome Village or something like that. I feel like more towns would have helped flesh out the world a little bit more, but hey, that's just me. The gameplay experience in this game was an overall positive one. I thoroughly enjoy a lot of the changes made here, and I feel like it's overall a step forward in evolving the Pokemon formula. I swear that wasn't intentional. Pokemon Legends Arceus is an amazing game in my opinion, and it's the best 3D Pokemon game since Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. Hell, it might even be slightly better than them. All of the changes and new additions to the classic formula really made this an enjoyable experience overall. Obviously, it's not perfect. There are still a few things that Game Freak needs to improve upon with Gen 9 or even another Legends game, but honestly, I hope a lot of what we got in this game does get brought over into Gen 9. The somewhat open world exploration, the different behaviors of the Pokemon in the wild, the changes made to the moves, basically anything positive that I said about this game I want to see carried into Gen 9 in a more modern day setting. Overall, Pokemon Legends Arceus is a great time and I recommend it to anyone who's a really big fan of Pokemon. Good shit, Game Freak. Just keep it up. I want you to know that I did at least, I want to say, 10 different takes at that conclusion fucking brick of shit in this damn script, and it's like, I hate my life right now. But anyway, as for what's next on the list, I'm actually going to try something different. I know I advertise myself as a review channel, but I actually remember advertising myself as talking about shit that I like, and it doesn't typically have to be reviews. So next time, I'm going to try something different, something I've been thinking about doing since the conception of my channel, and hopefully it goes well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This is the first time that I decided to use a script. As I mentioned throughout the video, I was scripting. I wanted to see if it'll help me be a little bit more coherent in the way that I'm talking about things. This last part that I'm talking about right now is not scripted. I'm just going off the dome right now, and it's like, oh, I don't know why I can't be this coherent usually. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed the whole scripting. Any and all feedback in terms of how that went would be very much appreciated. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you guys next time.
Darkness, endless, despair.